And here we go. We're back. Another episode of Short Story Long with a very inspirational, successful guy, but also someone that I consider a friend, Rich Amundson from Dick's Cottons.
Yep.
But more recently, which we'll get into on this whole thing, Shades Club.
Yes. Very exciting.
How exciting, man. This is good. I always kind of preface this a little bit. I don't know if it adds any value for my listeners or not, but I like to kind of preface whether I know the person or not, or what our relationship is or whatever, right? So
yeah, it's been 2 years since
so 2 years. We did an interview together.
Yep,
Is
for
how we
Amex.
met.
Yep.
For Amex. Shout out to our boy Roddy Kurtz.
Yes.
And then we've kept in touch a little here and there in between.
Yeah.
You've had a lot of success, which I've been following. And I'm just happy. This is the perfect place. This is why I love doing this, because it's the perfect place where now I can ask you to sit down in a chair with me and talk to me for an hour about what you're doing.
Good. I love what you're doing with the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving your time and energy to the young entrepreneurs out there.
Yeah.
It's exciting to be here. Lots happened since we last met down in Santa Monica.
Yep.
And it's exciting to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I'm excited to get into it, because we haven't really properly followed up since you were just doing Dick's Cotton.
Right.
Our friend Rod, who's in the room, has been keeping me updated, but it's exciting. As you can tell by me doing all this stuff, I'm extremely into and passionate about just, I don't know, I don't want to say business as a whole, but like this sort of new age of business and entrepreneurship and people that are able to pivot and make changes very quickly, and how people are taking advantage of social media and just all those different things is really the part that I love.
Yeah.
And you seem to be literally hitting that nail right on the head. So anyway, congratulations, and let's get into it.
Thanks. Yeah, let's start. So just to briefly touch on what Drama was talking about, is we had a sunglass company. We still have it. It's called Dick's Cottons.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had it for about 8 years now.
Mm-hmm.
You
know what? I'm going to stop you there.
Okay.
We're going to go all the way back.
All right, let's do it.
And we're going to get people to that part.
Love it.
Where are you from, Rich?
I'm from a suburb of Boston.
What's it called?
Holliston.
Got it. Do you have brothers and sisters?
I have one older sister. She's 3 years older.
Yeah.
I'm the only one in my family that's left Boston.
Okay.
Mostly everyone's there.
Yep. Are they very like Boston people?
Yeah, I think everyone from that area is pretty provincial.
Yeah. I like that, man.
Yeah.
Boston has a thing.
They don't leave, and they love everything about Boston.
Yeah.
As you can see from the sports teams and all that. So
that's so cool.
yeah, so it was fun growing up there. Have a lot of great friends still from childhood.
Yep. What was the dynamic sort of in your family like, or like between your sister? Was your sister like a high achiever, or was she the good one, you're the bad one, anything like that?
She was the artistic one, and I was the athletic one.
Fair. Got it.
So she's an architect now, so
wow.
And I played just sports 24/7. So.
Yeah. And did you ever have dreams of being a professional athlete?
I think my early dreams included that, but I think you learn real quickly as you get a little older, what your limitations are.
Yeah.
And
it's a big debate that I have on here a lot, is sort of to be blunt, the like give up on your dreams lesson, right? And
I heard that a little bit with Tom.
Yeah, I'm big on it. And Tom had a really interesting take on it, which I agree with, and he sees it a little differently than I do, but I get what he's saying. But I guess my biggest point that I'm a believer in is like, sometimes the best thing that you can do is to know that your dream isn't meant for you anymore. And I think that some people grow up with that like ingrained in their head, and they never switch dreams. And it's like sort of, okay, well, my baseball dream died and so did my entire adult life, Yeah. And I just think that that's like being able to know and be aware of when something isn't meant for you, when it's time to pivot, when it's time to move, is an incredibly like healthy skill.
Yeah, it's tough because you're taught, and I was taught at a young age, never give up, no matter what.
Yeah.
Keep going. If it's really your dream,
Yeah.
and that's what you want to be doing, then just never, ever, ever give up.
Yeah, that's a good and bad lesson.
But it's, on the other hand, it's, time is the most valuable thing we have. So if you're spending it on, something that's not going anywhere, you kind of got to look yourself in the mirror.
Yeah. Because here's what else I'll say is, we'll get to that part, but I'm guessing that sort of same mentality leads you to pivot your business in such a massive way, right?
Yes,
Because if somebody
absolutely.
said, no, just don't give up on Dick's Cottons and just go full steam, you don't discover this whole new, right?
Exactly. Yep.
So I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. I don't consider myself a teacher, and I don't know what I would teach on this, but I think it's that awareness is something really valuable that people need to work on
Yeah.
for their own benefit.
I think a good way is like your energy, where your energy's going,
Yeah.
and how you can think yourself to death. Like, should I do this? Should I do that? But it's really how you feel. If you feel how your insides feel,
Yeah.
you can kind of follow your intuition and say, this doesn't feel the same it used to.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time to pivot or take the next step or pursue something else. But it's a tough call for a lot of people
It
for a
is.
lot of things. There's no right answer. It's kind of like you got to just go with your gut.
Yeah. And when you're in that moment and you don't know what's next, that's a hard decision to make.
Yeah.
Because like all you know is this thing, and you're like, no, but I can't give up because that's what.
What will people think of me?
Yeah. It's your whole identity.
Yeah.
So you went to college, yeah?
Yeah. I went to North Carolina, Tar Heels.
Nice. Why there?
Um, I liked the color,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is really funny. But
That's
if
fair,
I'm
me
rocking
too.
that stuff for the rest of my life,
Yep.
Michael Jordan was obviously cool,
Yeah.
and I visited like 25 schools with my sister. She was older, and with myself, and it was the only school I got that like feeling.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going here no matter what.
That's fair. Where
Yeah.
was she going to college at the time?
She was at Syracuse.
Got it. And was she going for architecture already?
Yeah, she kind of was on that path
So
since.
she knew pretty early.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm always jealous of people like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I still wake up in the morning and feel like I don't know what I want to do. You know what I mean? Do you ever have that?
Yeah.
You ever wake up in the morning and you're like, man, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like, what am I about? So by the time you went to North Carolina, were you already over the sports thing, or were you playing sports there?
I played intramural or club soccer, but
Got it.
at that point you kind of know,
Yep.
this is just for fun at this point.
Yeah. So what'd you study?
I studied business. So they have a good undergraduate business school.
Yep.
So that was another reason I went there secondarily to, the fun and the sports atmosphere.
Yeah, and the color.
Yeah, and the color.
Did you start to craft what you wanted to do with the rest of your life at that point, or were you just kind of like business feels right?
Business feels right. I knew I wanted to have a business at some point.
Yeah.
I had tons of ideas, always business ideas, but it's which one do I actually stop everything and start?
Yep.
And if you don't stop everything and start it, then you probably weren't that passionate about it,
Yep.
So it's kind of that flow of ideas, and you're learning in school, but you know what you're learning in school may apply, it may not.
Yeah.
But you just get in that mind frame of finance and accounting and all that stuff, and it made me realize I thought I was going to be like a stockbroker, back in the day. Everyone's like, I want to be on Wall Street. And all my friends were applying for these internships at JP Morgan and HSBC and Chase Bank, and I couldn't bring myself to even submit an application for like a summer internship. I was just like, this isn't me.
Yeah.
I'd rather wait tables on the beach,
Yeah.
And they're in New York having these high flying internships, and part of you feels like maybe I should have done that.
Yeah.
But I was much happier just not doing it,
Yeah, I get it 100%.
Wow.
What type of work did your parents do?
My dad was a computer software engineer.
Okay.
So he was a computer programmer.
Yep.
He actually quit his job when he was 33 to start his own business.
Yep.
So I was 6 when that happened. So I was lucky enough to see that whole process,
Yeah.
and I actually started working there when I was 10.
That was my question. That's why I was asking. Was like, did you have the business instinct from seeing your parents do it, or?
Yeah, I think certainly. My mom was like an arobics instructor and a nurse,
Nice.
and was kind of self-employed, did her own thing.
Are you a healthy person?
I always think
Somewhat.
I should be healthier,
yeah,
but I try to be a little
Yeah,
healthy.
yeah. Just
I'm more
curious.
spiritual
Yep.
in that sense.
Yep.
Spiritual health. So that was cool. So yeah, my dad basically, they took my sister and I to ice cream when I think I was 7 and she was 10.
Yep.
And they sat us down and they said, your father's, quitting his job and he's going to start his own thing. Things are going to be tight for the foreseeable future,
Yeah.
And then I remember that Christmas, you know, those jugs you used to keep quarters and coins in.
Yeah.
Mom's like, kids, you know, it's time to count the change, and we're like, okay. And we didn't know till years later, but they used that to buy us Christmas presents
Yeah,
that
that was
year.
going to Santa Claus.
So yeah.
Could your brain wrap your head around what it meant that you were cutting back at age 7 or no?
Um,
Kinda?
I think we thought it was cool because we could visit him. He opened an office in town.
Yeah.
And it was just him for 5 years, just by himself, you
Yeah.
know. So we thought it was cool we could go visit him.
Yeah.
And we kind of saw he was just at his computer, you know, 14-hour days, writing his software and all that good stuff.
That has to, I think it's a kid, like, that has to embed in your brain, right?
Yeah.
You know, and just see that and be like, well, that's what dad did. Like, we
Yeah,
can do this.
hard work.
Yeah.
And then eventually started hiring some of our parents' friends, like
Mhm.
as, you know, a secretary or, you know, to answer the phones.
Yeah.
And it's cool. A lot of my friends are involved now in my business, so I feel like I might have got that from him. You know, hire your friends, work with your, you know, your friends, people you like.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like it takes a family, you know, it takes a village to raise a company.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
It sure does.
And you can relate to that, of course, with your
100%.
experiences.
It's taken like 3 different villages, which have sort of came in and out over the last 8 years. And I'm still trying to build a village, you know?
Yeah, well, you got a big village. So
Yeah.
you're doing well.
So when you're in North Carolina and you're studying business and all these people are leaving and kind of finding their paths, once again, you don't have one. Were you panicking or were you just sort of like, that's not for me, I'll figure it out?
Yeah, in hindsight, I probably was panicking a little
Yeah.
bit. I remember I had actually heart palpitations, and I was like, "What is this?" I thought I was like something was going on.
That's
I went to the doctor,
entrepreneurship,
and he's
Rich.
like, "Yeah," he's like, "You just have anxiety," and I was like, "I've never had anxiety in my life," and
Yeah.
he's like, "Well,
Are you trying to
just
start a business by any
yeah,
chance?
you just graduated college. Like, do you have a job?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "All right, that's probably you feel like you need a job because everyone else has a job, but
Yeah.
he's like, don't worry about it. Like, you know, it happens to everyone." So that made me feel better. And all my friends are living in New York, you know, wearing suits, going to their banking jobs, and I'm like, it's just not for me, you know.
Yeah.
I don't want to go down that path anymore, so I need to find out what I do want to do, you know.
Can I ask you this too? Were you the only one, meaning like, was it you and a close friend at the time both skipping the big New York internships, or was it kind of you by yourself on your own little island?
I felt like on my own little island,
Yeah.
you know.
That's what I like. I mean, that's what it sounded like, and that's what I like, and that's what, because that's hard to do, man.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people follow what everyone else is doing and sort of think that they're wrong.
Yeah.
And like, oh, well, no, this is what I'm meant to do. And I think there's probably a lot of unhappy people
Yeah.
everywhere, but like in the Wall Street world and all these different worlds because of just sort of following and saying, well, I'll shut up and just go
Yeah.
figure it out.
It's tough. When everyone starts doing their own thing and it was kind of what you were trained to do, and then you fall back, you know, you kind of gotta look yourself in the eye and say, you know, I'm taking a risk by not doing what everyone else is doing, but at the same time, you know, that's what you got to do. You know, to
Yeah.
be happy.
Yeah.
I actually got kind of lucky. The senior capstone course at school, there was a little clause in the syllabus, and it said if you pass it in your paper 1 minute late, it's an automatic F.
Uh-huh.
And I passed it in like 2 minutes late, and the teacher was like, "That's an F. You can't graduate." And I was like, "Wait, like what?
What the
Like,
hell?
Your joke? Like, all right, where's
Like, do you not realize I
where's
have
Ashton?"
heart palpitations
Yeah,
already?
like, what do you mean I can't graduate? She's like, "You're gonna have to stay for summer school." And I'm like, "This."
Because of being 2 minutes late.
Yeah, I'm like, I went to the dean, like, "Is this real? Like, can she do this?" He's like, "Yeah, it's her rule." So it actually ended up being the best thing that happened to me because as everyone went off, I didn't have a choice but to stay at school.
Yeah.
And the class I had to retake wasn't the same as the class I had just gotten an F in. It was how to start your own business.
Wow.
And you had the first part of summer, pick any idea, take it, and then at the end of the class, you present it to the classroom. And so I was like, this is the best class I've actually taken at all 4 years of college, and I never would have even known about this had that like not been 1 minute late. So
Damn, that's some weird
I feel like
divine
it was
intervention type
yeah.
stuff.
So I feel like it was serendipitous, and then at that point it was too late to get any of the jobs because they'd all hired. So you almost were forced into, okay, now I got to figure out my next move. You know.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
So it was
Talk
cool.
about like a bad situation
I know,
turning into a good one.
right?
What was the business that you started for the class?
It was called College Town Furniture, and everyone was moving out and just throwing their crap on the streets or in the dumpsters,
Yeah.
and then I knew 2 months later, all these families come in and go to Target and buy the same stuff that was just thrown out.
Yep.
So it was we go to your dorm, we buy up all your stuff for pennies on the dollar. You don't have to move it out or throw it, and then we resell it. I'm sure somebody started it at this point, but
So you never pursued it at all?
no.
Damn, that sounds really good.
Yeah.
All right, kids, there's your first
Yeah.
business idea, courtesy of Short Story Long and my friend Rich here.
Yeah.
What was your grade on that? Was there a grade on that idea?
Yeah, I think we got an A on it. We were one of the best in the class
Yeah.
for that.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're finished. You're now kind of out on your own. Where do you go from there?
So I ended up waiting tables that summer.
In North Carolina or back home?
back home on
Boston.
Cape Cod. Yeah.
Yep.
So it was one extra summer on the beach, which
Isn't bad.
was not bad at all.
Yep.
And then the fall came, and my buddy and I decided to just drive across country to Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
It was warm weather, who knows?
Yeah.
And we got just whatever jobs at a mutual fund company, making like 27 grand. And the year before, everyone at my business school was making 100, 200 grand.
Yep.
So it was like a shock, like the economy was a little worse, but it wasn't that much worse. That we should be making like that low.
A quarter of the
exactly. So I had to wear khaki pants and a polo shirt, and we had cubicles, and it was just
terrible.
Yeah.
But was that on some we'll just do whatever just to kind of live here and poke around?
Let's just get something to get that monkey off our back that we should have jobs.
Yeah. And so you're instantly miserable. You're miserable the whole time.
Yeah.
There wasn't a part of you that was like, oh, maybe we figured it out here.
Yeah. No. So we did that for like a year.
And what were you doing were you just like partying and enjoying the Arizona lifestyle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a 9 to 5. So you get to see the benefits of literally checking out at 5 p.m. on a Friday.
Yeah. And
you don't have to think about or worry about work till Monday morning.
Yeah.
Which for some people that has its benefits.
Yep.
The steady paycheck,
Yeah.
not that it was a lot, but you kind of get that side of things.
Yeah.
And you say, this is cool, but there's nowhere to go up, unless you put in 10 years working for this company.
Yeah.
You're kind of like, yeah, this isn't for me.
Yeah. So that only lasted a year?
Yeah.
And then what?
And then I got in my car and I drove to New York City. I was like, I need the action, the big city. I didn't have a job.
And that was just blind, just looking for action.
Yeah.
Jesus.
We had a couple friends there at that point.
Yeah.
And so I just called and I said, I'm coming to New York. They're on a 6th floor walk up, no air conditioning. I was like, I need to sleep on your couch for like 6 months.
Yeah.
And they're like, sure, come on through. So I drove, and then got there and started looking for jobs. And I found a job with Corcoran Real Estate. You know Barbara Corcoran?
I
from
sure do.
Shark
Yeah.
Tank?
Yeah.
So her company.
Mm-hmm.
And I started slinging, apartments and condos, and
That's amazing. And you had no real estate background, right?
no.
And why was that? Just the job you got, or did you start to head in a real estate direction?
Yeah, I knew real estate was entrepreneurial.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew it would help learn the city and make connections.
Yeah.
So I was actually joined one of the top teams at Corcoran.
Yep.
And Barbara used to send us her clients because she didn't work with anyone anymore.
Uh-huh.
So I was getting to work with these, huge, high-powered people.
Yeah.
Some of which I still keep in touch with today. Have awesome businesses. We still stay in touch. So that worked out. But it quickly became 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Because people need to see apartments on the weekends.
Yep.
And so that was the other. I went from the 9 to 5, cubicle to now I'm on the streets all day.
Yeah.
But it's weekends.
Did you enjoy it at all? Like in the beginning?
Yeah, I
You
did.
Yeah.
It's the rush.
Yeah, it
And-
seems like it'd be kind of fun to like play for a few months. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
like I would enjoy if I could just go see it for a little bit, and then I
Yeah.
would want to come back
Yeah.
to my life.
Eventually, you work with enough people, and you spend 2 weeks working with them, and
Yeah.
then they ghost you,
Yeah.
and you basically worked for free.
And
You know?
running all around New York. I mean, I can't.
In the summers,
Yeah. In a
95
suit.
degree in a suit.
Yeah,
There's
it's not.
garbage on the
Never mind.
streets.
Never mind. I couldn't do it.
It's baking, and you're in these empty apartments where the AC hasn't been on in
Yeah.
months.
Yeah.
You know?
But there was something about it you liked in the beginning.
Yeah, I like the hustle.
Yeah. Did you start to do well?
Yeah, we had a really good team, and I like became the second guy below my bosses.
Yeah. How long did that take?
Very quickly, like 6 months,
Jesus.
and then I had 5 people below me.
Jesus. Do you think you had like a thing for it?
You know, it's just if you hustle, you can
Yep.
you can learn it. You know.
Was it a lot of people skills or no?
Yeah.
More hustle.
It's a lot of hustle and people skills. I think just
Yep.
being trustworthy and but there's no barriers to entry. You just need to be 18 and
Yeah.
pass a test.
How hard is the test?
It wasn't that hard.
How long is there a class that you take before the test?
Yeah, it took about 30 days.
So essentially in 30 days, if you're relatively smart, you can get your license.
And most of the people jumping in are jumping in because they feel like they didn't have any other options or they didn't go to college or,
Yeah.
you know, they're just doing it for some quick cash, you know? Because
Yeah.
if you get a deal, you can make, a couple grand.
Yep.
But they weren't in it for the career or the long term.
Mm-hmm. I feel like there's a lot of people in real estate.
Yeah, 90% of the people.
There's a lot of people that I've seen that just have a lot of connections and don't know what to do with them. Maybe
Yeah.
through like the club scene or
Yeah.
the whatever. And it's like, oh, maybe real estate.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, I mean, I think it works for some of them.
Yeah, because you're self-employed, but
Yeah.
you're not,
Yeah.
So
And I guess if it's connection, people skill, and hustle based, I mean, you can do it
Yeah.
if you're that type of guy
yeah,
or girl. So 6 months in, you're doing well. You're starting to make money. You have people working under you. At that point, are you still feeling good about it? Or when did you start to feel like,
yeah, about 2 to 3 years in, I'd say.
got it?
All my friends at this point, they're mid-20s. They're heading to the Hamptons, Montauk, Cape
Yeah.
Cod every weekend. They're at the beach.
Yeah.
And in the summer is when most people need to see their, apartments. So I'm in a suit and tie,
Yeah.
sweating, and not enjoying.
And those guys are all in finance and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. So they
So-
get weekends.
So they get weekends. They leave, Friday at 2, and that's when my weekend,
Ugh,
I'm
yeah.
starting to work.
Mm-hmm.
So it was good for a while, but I need the beach. I need to travel. I need to explore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just started resenting it. Like my feelings towards it went from 100 down to like 0
Really?
real fast, and just started just trying to figure out what my next move could be.
Were you alone in that aspect too? Or once again, did you have a friend or a group that was kind of with you in that feeling? Or was it like, oh no, he's doing so well. We all work for him, blah, 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 and he's miserable by himself.
Yeah.
It was like that?
I think a lot of people got sick of working on the weekends, at least in the real estate
Mhm.
side of things. I did have another friend who was a musician who was working at a hedge fund.
Yep.
And he started feeling the same thing. He's like, I don't think I can do this anymore.
Yep.
So I started calling meetings once a week at the office after it shut down. I got like 10 friends there, and I said, let's just talk business ideas.
Yeah.
He wants to be a musician. I want to start something. You guys are all smart. Let's just like hammer it out for a couple hours, hang out, have a couple beers, and let's just like get in that mind frame
Yeah.
where we're talking about business and we're thinking of ideas, and something may snowball,
Yeah.
and happen.
Yeah.
And so we started doing that, and it actually kind of kicked everything into gear.
Really?
Yeah, it was really just. It's one of those things where if you're spending your time and energy on it, things come to you.
Yeah.
The age-old saying is the universe, brings you back what you're putting out.
Yeah.
But all these things started coming into the universe and into vision, and it just slowly but surely started, making moves that could get me out of the real estate.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
So what was the big time of really making the leap of leaving real estate?
Yeah. So my first idea, Dick's Cottons, was actually T-shirts,
Yep.
which
So did that come from, isn't there a story about like you were on a trip
yeah. So
and the sunglass thing? Was that after the t-shirt idea?
yeah. So the T-shirts was, I love fashion. You know, I love, like, when I was a kid, I used to cut apart my Nike shoes
Yeah.
and put the Nike signs on different articles of clothing. I'd make my own Nike bags, my Nike shirts,
Yeah.
and it was just, you know, sewn on, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
ACG. Remember ACG
I
back
do.
in the day?
Yeah.
So I was like, let me just get. I always loved it. Let me see if I can make something of it. You know, I made a couple T-shirts here and there, and then
And it was called Dick's Cotton.
Dick's Cotton.
And Dick's that's after your grandfather?
My grandfather, yeah. Ironically, he was an eye doctor in the Korean War.
Yeah.
He was an optometrist, and then he had his own optometry store,
Yeah.
checking people's eyes for 50 years in Boston.
That's crazy.
So,
But why did you name? You just had a really good relationship with him, or why did you name the clothing part after him?
I was named after him, Rich.
Yep.
And Dick, you know, Dickie.
Yep.
People would call me that.
Got it.
I wanted a funny name that, you know,
Yeah.
people would remember.
Yeah, yeah.
So it turns out I was so burnt out of real estate. I was just, you know, not caring at all about it. And my friend was like, "Hey, we're going to Croatia on a sailing trip. We just negotiated a bigger boat that holds 2 extra people.
Uh-huh.
The trip's in a week. Do you want to go?" And I was like, you know, it was over the 4th of July, but that's the busiest real estate. Like the beginning of July is like the busiest.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I can't go. And then like later that night, I called him. I was like, I'm going.
Yeah.
I was like, just go. You know, figure out, work will always be work. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I called my boss. He's like, you can't leave. And I was like, you know, this is non-negotiable. I'm
Yeah.
gone for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And so I had the T-shirts, and I'm like, I gotta bring stuff. You know, I gotta buy shades. I gotta bring cool stuff for the trip. I can do photo shoots on there with my shirts and
Yeah.
get some hats made. And I went shopping for sunglasses, and literally it was either like $150 or like $5 like street shades on like St. Mark's.
Yep.
And I wanted like 5 pairs of $50 shades.
Yep.
And there wasn't anything. So I just bought a ton of shades, like the street shades. I'm like, let me just at least have some party shades for the trip. And I got on the boat and was just like so pieced out. I was just like, this is what I needed, you know? And I just was like, why don't I make sunglasses? There's obviously a huge void. I could travel. I can live on the beach. I can work on the beach. I can be on a boat. Like, this could be my work. Being on this boat could be working.
Work, yeah.
You know?
Research and development.
Exactly. So it was just like one of those aha moments.
Yeah.
Like, this, thank God. Like
this is my life.
Just thank God I took this trip, you know?
Was that the first time when an idea or a path sort of felt right to you?
Yeah, it
Like
just
felt really right?
like just a feeling like this is it.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta.
How old were you at that point?
I was 27.
Got it. So not super young.
No.
You know what I mean? I
No.
feel like a lot of my listeners are like right around that age. And I just think that's a huge thing that I get a lot is like, how do you find that thing?
Yeah.
And I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
I mean, my best guess is you just have to go try a lot of things.
Yeah.
And you have to sort of explore and you have to open yourself up to new opportunities and read new books and go on new trips. And I don't know. And not saying spend a bunch of money. It's not a financial thing. It's like go on road trips. Go on.
Yeah.
I don't know. Listen to this podcast until you find a career that sounds like one you
Yeah.
like, right? But I don't know, but I do know that it's insanely important to find it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? If you could give any advice on how to find your thing, what would you say?
That's a great question. My business partner TJ always says, "Life, like LIFE, learn it from experience."
Mm-hmm.
And I think you need that. You need to know what you like and don't like, and you can only do that by doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think putting yourself in the situation for opportunities to present themselves, you just have to do it.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't start that shirt company, I would have never gone shopping for like sunglasses for the photo shoot to wear on the boat.
Yeah.
You know, if we didn't have those meetings, you know, you just have to get the ball rolling. And, you know, it's similar to your story, I guess, is if you just didn't move out to LA,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have been in the room when they need an assistant the night before.
Yeah, no chance.
You know?
Yeah.
But
It's always just the next
it's-
thing.
You could be so close to like finding it, but it's, you know, you do go this way or that way. But
Yeah.
just going out to LA, getting surrounded by those people that you wanted to be around, getting in the right frame of mind.
Yeah.
I think you just got to get started.
Yep.
Because you're gonna pivot. What you start on is not gonna be where you end. You know.
Mhm.
But if you don't get started,
You're screwed
you're never
You're
gonna get anywhere.
in finance.
Yeah. which some people love, you know,
Yeah.
but you have to do what's right for you and how you feel, you know. Some people are happy getting out of work at 5 on Fridays and getting the paycheck, but you know, for some of us, like a lot of your listeners probably, you know, you want to leave a legacy, you know,
Yeah.
that you created something, you brought something good into the world.
Yeah.
Other people makes their lives better. They enjoy it, or you know, they're wearing their Y&R shirt and they decide to take a trip because they're like, yeah, I'm young and I'm reckless. Let me go take a trip.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that might lead them to being inspired. You know.
Yeah. At least for me, it's a way. It's the only path. You know. Sometimes I wish I could work a 9 to 5 and like just have a like nice normal life and like a golden retriever and just not really worry about anything. But I just can't imagine like it's a constant search for like meaning or purpose, or you know what I mean, like I said, there are days when I wake up now and I'm like, I don't even know why I'm doing this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like constantly trying to figure out the next thing that makes you feel fulfilled, you know. I get it though, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
So at what point, how long after this sort of revelation on a boat in Croatia until you abandon real estate and dive in?
It was almost to the nose 6 months.
Damn, that's not very long.
No.
And so what'd you do? What was the action of like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I love Croatia. I love big boats. This is my life forever. What do you do like the moment you get back to New York? Did you go back to real estate but working on the sunglass stuff on the side?
Yeah. So the day I got back, I enrolled in classes at Fashion Institute of Technology.
Nice.
So FIT.
So you were doing both real
So I was-
estate and going to
So I was
school.
doing that at night, which was tough because usually at real estate, you work till. I was sleeping at the office some nights.
Yeah.
You know, my boss would get there at 8 in the morning. I'd be wearing the same thing.
Yeah.
He's like, "Did you sleep here?" I was like, "No," but you know, you're embarrassed about it at the time.
Yeah.
But so I had to cut all my nights short at 6, you know, to go to class.
Yeah.
But I just said, I got to do it. And I had no you know, I'm in class with these people that have, you know, they're 18, 19. I
Yeah.
feel like the old guy. You know, they knew they wanted to be fashion designers their whole life. I'm
Yeah.
drawing swimsuit models. Like, you know, that a swimsuit model
Yeah.
has to be 10 heads tall. And I'm like, you know, you kind of
Yeah.
question yourself. Like, but it got me in that
Yeah.
frame of mind. Like, this is how you got to do it. You
Yeah.
know, if you want to design stuff. And then I took a couple other classes like social media building. And this was back in 09.
Yeah.
So social media wasn't
What
it
was
is
it
now.
then? Facebook and MySpace?
Facebook had just launched.
So
Kind of.
MySpace and
Yeah.
Friendster.
Exactly.
Jesus.
So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
It was fun.
And was the main goal like was it to learn how to design, or was it to completely just submerge yourself in this new world and say, this is what I am now?
Yeah, it was a little bit of both, but mostly to submerge myself because I knew if I needed to be surrounded by fashion people.
Yep.
Like that were hungry, that were designing, that knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
That would have connections. I knew I might, you know, a teacher might know a factory. You know, I didn't know the first thing about making a pair of sunglasses.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you anything about it. So I just wanted to get in that frame of mind. I started studying, you know, on my own about the market and industry and all that. But it was really I just wanted to make this one pair that I had in my head that didn't exist.
Yep.
And so I actually went probably a week later. After the trip,
Uh-huh.
a friend invited me to the bar to like hang out with some people. And I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll go. And this girl was like, so what do you do? And I'm like, I'm in real estate, but I also started this T-shirt thing, but I really, really want to make sunglasses.
Yeah.
And she's like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah. She's like, I help companies make sunglasses.
Oh man.
And I'm like, you're joking.
You have a gift. You have a
It's
law of
just-
attraction gift. You
it
know what I mean?
was, you know, just the right, like,
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean you help companies? Don't they all make their own? She's like, no, like 3 companies make sunglasses for the whole world.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? She's like,
And
yeah,
I
we
know all of them.
She's like, we make for like any brand you see in the like a department store, we make those.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean they don't make their own? She's like, what are you doing tomorrow? I'm like, I'm coming to your office the moment you open.
Yeah.
So I went there, showed her my sketches. She's like, yeah, we can have these ready in like 3 to 4 months. I'm like, what? Like, you gotta be
Oh,
kidding
man.
me. I was like, what else do I need to do? She's like, you know, do this, do that. And I'm like, I can't thank you enough. Like,
Yeah.
this is actually gonna happen. Like, she's like, how many do you want to order? I'm like, I don't know, like a couple hundred. She's like, that's not gonna work. She's like, we need to make it 5,000. And I'm
Jesus
like,
Christ.
5,000? She's
What's the
like,
cost?
it was gonna be about 30 to 40 grand.
Jesus.
So I'm like, all right. I guess worst case scenario, like me and my friends will have sunglasses for the rest of our
The
lives,
rest of our lives.
like the same pair for like ever.
Oh
I'm like, I
man.
think I could sell like 100 maybe, but she's like, well, that's like they don't just make 100, you know, you
Yeah.
gotta like. So I'm like, all right, let's do it. So I
Jesus.
placed the order. And meanwhile, while I was waiting for those to come in, I had a bunch of samples. You know, like they just make you samples, like no logos or anything.
Yeah.
So I started drawing my logo in Sharpie on the side of them
Uh-huh.
and started giving them out to people. And
That's
saying,
why it's the stick figure.
yeah,
I remember that story, but I couldn't remember.
yeah.
I knew
So
that there was a story behind the stick figure.
yeah, our logo's a stick figure, and I just would draw stick figures on the side of the shades and wear them out and hand them out to people. And people are like, "What are these? Are so cool. What are they?" I'm like, you know, new brand coming out. Just stay tuned.
We got 5,000.
Yeah, we got
without a
plenty.
home,
Just
if
hit
you
me
want.
up.
Yeah.
So did that for a while, and just like, well, people are like, "You're not starting a sunglass company." I'm like, "No, I'm starting a sunglass company." They're like, "Who does that? You don't know any the first thing." I'm like, "I don't know. We're just gonna go with it." They're
How
like, "Well,
cool.
can I have a pair?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely."
Yep, got plenty.
So and then you work your way around the fashion district a little bit in New York. For anyone that's been there, it's a little grimy and seedy.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I gotta find a guy that can put a real logo on this thing. Like, I can't be drawing Sharpies forever.
Yep.
And I talked to like 8 different people, and then they're like, talk to this guy, talk to this guy, talk to this guy, and then eventually they're like, oh, you gotta go see the devil. And I'm like,
Jesus.
who? And he's like, third basement down, like in this building, like there's a guy named the devil, and he's the only guy that can print on sunglasses. And I'm like, so I go down on like 3
Jesus
floors
Christ.
down, like on this sketchy like fashion, district building.
Yeah.
And I walk in, he's got bongs and lighters, and he prints like logos on all the stuff you see, like Statue of Liberty, like the street vendors.
Mm-hmm.
He prints like lighters and bongs and you name it, he's printing it. And I'm like, are you the devil? He's like, yeah. He barely speaks English. And I'm
Were those
like,
your exact words? Are you the devil?
yeah.
And he
He's
said
like,
yes.
oh, yeah, that's me, that's me. So I'm like, oh God, what did I get myself into? I'm like,
It's
can
hell.
you
It's
print?
called hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like 3 floors down under a
Yeah.
building. That's probably why they called him
Yep.
the devil, And I'm like, dude, can you print logos on sunglasses? He's like, yeah, no problem. So go through that whole thing. I ended up using him for like anytime I needed a logo on something,
Mm-hmm.
He ended up being one of the best resources I had for the first year, until my sunglasses were ready.
Who would have thought the devil
And
would be so valuable?
just right.
Only in the business of
Yeah.
apparel and sunglasses is the devil your best friend.
So he was a character, but I worked with him for a little bit. So I had actual logos on the shades.
Yeah.
And then when the real shipment came in, I was just giving them out to friends, like bring 5 out every time I go out, hand them out to people.
So the real shipment had the 5,000 had the proper logos on them,
That 5,000 had the proper logos.
and the devil handled all the rest.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
handled all the rest of the logos.
So you get 5,000 sunglasses. How many do you think you gave away leading up to the 5,000?
Probably 300.
Yep.
I would say.
And what was the initial reaction from like the core group of friends? Like they were like, "Oh, cool, Rich has got a thing."
Yeah, people loved the shades.
Yeah.
It was a unique frame that was like a one-piece lens. It's actually back in style now. It's funny, things go in 7-year cycles.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's back in style now. So,
Yeah.
but nobody was doing it at the time. And the one thing that everyone started saying is they get so many compliments when they were wearing them. So I knew there was potential, because I've never really gotten a ton of compliments on any sunglasses I've worn.
Yep.
And everyone had the same exact feedback. So I was like, all right, we got something here.
Yeah.
We just started, anybody that knew a celebrity, get me their address, we'll ship them a pair,
Yeah.
You ship them 10 pairs probably actually.
Yeah,
back
of course.
then.
Yep.
And it was like it started from friends of friends,
Mhm.
and then their friends brought it to their friends, and it was like friends of friends of friends,
Yeah.
and then eventually the right people, Gronkowski
Yep.
got somebody knew him, got a pair.
Yep.
Snoop posted on Instagram. I don't know how he got them, but
Yeah.
he posted on Instagram. Mac Miller was wearing them.
Yeah.
And then we had a
That's the magic part.
It was
Sorry,
like,
but that's the part
yeah,
where like you sort of send out that initial idea, give out the initial things, and then when it starts ending up in places that you didn't plant
yeah,
yourself, it's like, oh shit, like this is a thing,
yeah.
you know?
Like if that pair of sunglasses could tell a story,
Yeah.
how did that get from like me to Snoop's
It's like
Instagram?
it's like the game where you put the message like in a bottle or in a balloon and you sort of let it
Oh
go. And
yeah,
like, oh, how
yeah,
did
yeah,
it get there? You know,
yeah,
it's like, but it ends up at Snoop's house, and he's like, yo, what's up, it's Snoop?
yeah,
It's like, how the hell? But I just remember when I first launched Young and Reckless and those things started happening, it was like, oh my God,
this
like
is
this is
real.
something special.
That's like, isn't that the best feeling though? Like
It's the best feeling in the world. And it's hard the problem is it's hard to sustain.
it's like that
Being
high,
honest.
and then
Yeah, because it still feels good, but you just unfortunately you sort of get used to it. And then you ask, well, how can I monetize that? Or how can I market that? Or how can I, instead of like in those days, it doesn't matter. You're not thinking that big.
yeah,
You're just thinking, I want to get my brand out there and sales and ROI, and that shit doesn't matter. So just by seeing it, you're like, this is crazy. I have a brand.
yeah,
That's the real magic. That's like the honeymoon phase of a,
yeah,
like of a
yeah,
relationship of starting a brand.
yeah. Seeing anyone else wear it, never
Yeah.
mind like somebody that probably has hundreds of things to choose from,
Yeah.
and they chose your creation.
You're sick figure guy. So what did you start a website or what's the next move when you have 5,000 sunglasses coming in hot?
So looking back on it, I really didn't plan like I should have.
Yeah.
It's like
You never do.
you never do.
Yeah.
Like it actually happened really fast. So I was giving out shades to like everyone, and a friend of mine went to a New Year's Eve party, and it's so funny looking back on it now. But they didn't. This guy like likes to throw big parties, and the Jersey Shore had just come out.
Yep.
So he's like, I'm gonna hire those guys to come to my party at 2 a.m. And my friend was there, and he had like 10 pairs of shades with him. So he just gave them out because they were like episode 2 had just aired, and they were like huge.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, like they're not really my crowd, but thanks for giving them the shades.
Yeah. All
And,
press
like,
is good
A
press.
week later, somebody's like, yo, you got to go to like people.com right now. And I was like, what's going on? And there was a picture of them on the homepage of people.com wearing the sunglasses. Like they had gotten
Cool.
photographed in LA.
Yeah.
And then
Did it give credit or no?
it didn't give credit, but
You could
people
see
started tweeting at them,
Yep.
where'd you get your sunglasses?
Got it.
And they started shouting me out, and they had every eyeball in the world
Yeah.
at the time on them for like a hot minute.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a website or anything. I just had a Twitter account. So I was like, can you guys like PayPal me?
Oh,
like
that's
I'll
amazing.
email me your ad,
Yeah.
like, and I'll put together a pack. Like I didn't have any orders, and all of a sudden this happened.
Yep.
So I used to spend nights like handwriting address labels. Like looking back on it, it was just like you had to do it, but it's so much easier now. Like you hit a
Yeah.
button and it like prints the postage. I was like going to the post office like stamps.
But
and,
is that what you're doing? Like off of your Twitter, PayPal, and then shipping?
Yeah, shipping and like.
Holy shit.
And I was like, called my friend who's like, good with website stuff, and I'm like, I need a website like ASAP. So he built me like a rudimentary site.
Yep.
Looked good, worked. And I started sending people there, and then season 2 of the Jersey Shore happened, and they brought a whole box for the whole house.
Mm-hmm.
And on the first episode, one of the things was like one of them giving out sunglasses to the rest of the people.
Oh, Jesus.
And so every episode they wore them for all of season 2. So then people are like, at this point, where can I get them?
Yeah.
Then we had like, a lot of some athletes started wearing them and stuff. And at this point I was like, all right, I called my boss and I was like, this is like March.
Uh-huh.
And this all happened in February.
Uh-huh.
And I just,
Oh, you hadn't quit yet.
I hadn't quit yet.
Holy shit.
So
you're staying up all night, like taking Twitter orders and
Yeah,
PayPal and
yeah,
writing
it's
posters, and
just-
then going the next day and trying to sell like a fancy
Yeah.
condo?
and I didn't tell my bosses about any of this. So
Damn.
I didn't want them to think I wasn't, all in on the real estate. Just, you never know what's going to happen.
What did tell me what a day looked like. Let's say a busy, full tilt day in that sweet spot of just doing everything. What did a day look like for you?
Yeah. It was waking up probably at 7.
Mhm.
Back then we were using Blackberries, so
Yep.
emails on the Blackberry till 9, because real estate people, they email you at all hours of the night, like,
Mhm.
yeah, I saw this property at 3 in the morning. Can we see it at 9 in the morning? And whatever.
Yeah.
Then showing apartments from like 9 till 6 p.m. all around the city. Then I would go to school, to my fashion classes like 6 to 9. And then when I got home at like 9:30, I would, start checking Twitter, Facebook, looking for orders, seeing what orders came in, responding to questions. And that probably did that to like, 2 in the morning, I
Yeah.
would say. And packing up orders, I would get the USPS boxes from the post office. Like I was like, oh, free boxes at the post office. This is perfect.
Yeah.
I don't have to buy any.
Yeah.
And literally, like in hindsight, it's embarrassing, but that's what you didn't know any better.
Yeah.
This was like a joke. Like I'm just gonna give out Chase to my friends, see what happens, and all of a sudden I'm getting orders from like 20 countries.
Yeah.
Like I'm shipping them all over the world. I'm handwriting notes in every one of them. Like thank you so much.
And then you get a good 4 or 5 hours of sleep.
Yeah,
and then
just
back to
do it 7 days a week. So
That's nuts.
yeah, in hindsight, it was really hard, but literally, like I would do anything to go back to that. It's
Yeah.
like that's like the rush.
That's
Like,
the funny part.
you
When
can't
you're in
just
it, you hate it. When you look back on it, you miss it. Like, I don't know. I wish I could find the sweet spot of how to like operate every day as much in the, it's kind of, I don't know whether it's an awareness thing or it's, we can get real deep on some
Yeah.
spiritual stuff there, but like if you could somehow live in that, because if you could, you would work really, I think, at least me, I would work really, really hard because that's where I find the most fulfillment and happiness. Not as hard as you did then, right? But to be able to enjoy it and then take the time to enjoy it, I don't know. I think that it's always the times when you're like working the hardest and the most miserable that you look back on and say those were the best.
Absolutely, that you hit the nail on the head. Like it's a magical when everything comes together and you're creating, but also it's being worn, and it's just this like magic rush that it's hard to replicate. But you're right. If you could live in that, and if you could find out how to live in that,
Yeah.
it would.
I got to do some research to see if anyone claims to have found the key to that.
You get mired in the minutia,
Yeah.
because once that takes off, it brings in other stuff that you got to do,
Yeah.
that you don't necessarily might not want to do, but
also naturally it's almost like we look to get out of that. And then when you do get out of it for too long, you're like, oh, I miss it. You know what I'm saying? And then you kind of try to hunt to get back in the groove, and then you hunt to get out. I don't know. Like, why? How come you can't just live in a sweet spot? Why are we so crazy?
Yeah, I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
You can find that though. That's like the.
I'm gonna poke around and see
All
if anyone
right.
claims to have found it, and just see what they're doing.
Yeah. The secret.
The real secret.
The real secret.
So you get this site up. Do you then? Is that when you go and quit? Is that what you were gonna say?
Yeah.
Then you finally go quit after all of this.
Yeah. So I called a meeting with my bosses. I said, I'm going to Vegas tomorrow, and I'm not coming back. And they were like, "What?" I was like, "It's just they're like,
is there a property?
Everything
out
okay?"
there, or-
Like, you need to have a chat about something. I'm like, "Nah." I like started these sunglasses and blah blah blah. And they're like, "What?
Yeah.
Like, you were doing all this on the side?" I was like, "Yeah, I didn't know this was gonna happen, but it happened."
Yeah.
And they're all right. Well, best of luck. Keep in
Wow.
touch.
Wow. And what was
So-
Vegas, trade show or?
Vegas was just like an annual trip with my college buddies.
Got it.
And then I went out to LA because I had some friends out in LA at this point.
Yep.
And I'm like, I got to go around the LA fashion district. I want to spend 2 weeks in LA, get the LA vibe.
Yeah.
Because it's a whole different thing than New York, and
Definitely.
make some connections out there, and
Man.
So
So you did it. You took the leap. Were you scared at that point, or at that point were you so wrapped up in the work of it all that you're like,
yeah,
we got this?
there was no fear at all.
Yeah.
It just felt right. You were asking earlier about like how do you know when it's time to pivot? Like all my energy was going into the sunglasses, and there was no energy going into my other job.
Yeah.
And I just kind of said, nothing's felt as good as this does.
Uh-huh.
So let's just go for it. See what happens.
Yeah. So you come to LA. Is the web store's kind of cranking at that point?
Yeah, we were getting orders in, not like hundreds, but a good amount every day.
Like, are you making enough, or you have enough saved or whatever to live at least, or are
Yeah.
you kind of cutting it close? Got it.
I had some savings, and you know, making a, maybe 30 to 50 orders a day,
Mm-hmm.
which was more than I ever in my wildest dreams expected, in the first little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But then it comes time, you get sucked into like, should you do this marketing thing and this marketing thing, and you're like, you start spending money on stuff, and you're testing it because you have no idea,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so you experiment,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually did, I'm traveling at this point because I basically said I'm gonna say like yes to everything.
Yep.
Um, any opportunity, there was actually just a TED talk. A lady did a year of yes,
Mm-hmm.
which is ironic. We did it that year. I'm just like, I'm gonna say yes to every trip, every connection, every friend, everything, and just see what happens. And so I was like, just traveling, kind of letting loose for those 5 years. I didn't get to spend any weekends, from work.
How'd you
Um,
feel about what it did to your life?
it was amazing
Mm-hmm.
because it's you when you first get started, you really have to live and be the brand.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew we wanted to be like a travel sunglasses party, and the people that were gravitating toward it, obviously partying. Gronk's a partier, Snoop parties, the Jersey
Yeah.
Shore cast was partying.
Yeah.
They're all traveling, kind of living that lifestyle,
Yep.
And so you kind of have to kind of live that.
You have to. You have no choice.
As
It's
you
like,
know,
listen, it's work. Okay, I need to go to Scottsdale for the weekend because I'm working.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Got it.
So, in the early days, you are the brand, as I'm sure you
Yep.
you can
I was
attest to.
reckless as shit.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And so you got to set the tone.
Yeah.
And once in a while you drift away from that, and you got to find your way back to it. But
Yeah.
I was really lucky. I would have my friends help ship boxes,
Yeah.
have them come over. I had like a 250 square foot apartment in New York City, like
Yeah.
5th floor walk up. It was stacked floor to ceiling with sunglasses and boxes, and
Oh, cool.
it was 100 degrees in the summer, and friends would come over and help pack boxes and stuff, and I'm like, this is going great. And then I got a random email from my now business partner and friend TJ.
Yeah.
And he's like, we met, and he's like, I love what you're doing. I've been a lifeguard and work in Red Bull and Nike, and I've worked with the big brands, and I see where this can go. But he's like, you need help with your branding, and I think I can really help with that. And I'm kind of at the same stage you were.
Yeah.
I want to do something on my own.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, did you just like, where'd you come from? Like, I'm not good at branding at all. Like,
Yeah.
you look at my website. It's like,
Yep.
And he's like, dude, let's just figure this out and make it happen. And so,
Damn it, that's how that happened?
yeah. So we literally just started meeting every couple weeks. He was in New Jersey. We met in the city. He had a lot of contacts in his fields, and he's really good at like the branding and messaging and all that.
Yeah.
And so we started working together, and things were going well. We had a pop-up store out here in LA
Yeah.
a few years
On
after
Fairfax
that.
is what you were saying?
Yeah. And things were good. We launched a few new styles.
Yep.
Had like a little mini cult following, I guess you could say.
And at that point, you branched out. You had an office in New York, or were you working out of your apartment?
Just
the whole
working out of
time?
my apartment.
That's crazy.
Forever.
And so you were shipping everything yourself and doing everything. That's nuts.
Yeah. In hindsight, probably could have done a little bit more to scale. But
Yeah.
when
but
you're in it, that's like,
yeah.
you're in it.
And if you can do it, I mean, you want to stay. I don't
Yeah.
know. There's definitely value in a good cult following and a good profitable core business that you can manage, as I'm sure you know, especially now as you are scaling.
Yeah.
There's definitely value and sort of peace of mind in that as
Yeah.
well, as opposed to just trying to rapidly,
Yeah.
we have a little success. How do we get an office? How do we get a bigger office? How do we, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a bit of a nightmare too.
The patience is the hardest because you want to get so successful so fast, but it really does take time.
Yeah.
Anything good takes time, and just the patience to like see it through.
Yeah.
Because everyone around you see all the overnight successes, but
Of
you don't
course.
see the 10 years it took them to get there.
Yeah.
You
That's
just-
what's weird about the way this world works is like every time you see someone's success, it just looks like it happened out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you just don't see the people going through it,
Yeah.
and so when you start, you get real antsy real quick. But at least you were antsy like while working. Like I think
Yeah.
a lot of young people are just impatient but aren't doing any work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're just sort of like, well, when does my
Magic
business
moment
come,
happen.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
You have to. I guess my main advice would be like just start doing something that feels like it's towards the path you might want to be doing,
Mm-hmm.
because that will lead to you couldn't even predict, like think about what you were doing 5 years ago,
Yeah.
and it was probably completely different to where you are now. Now think of like 5 years from now,
Yeah.
like
People dramatically underestimate the step by step process and like the just doing one thing tomorrow that is a little closer to what you think you might want to do one day. It's like I feel like people sit at home and stew, and you sit on Instagram and you see everyone's overnight success, and you see, and everything feels so like big, and so you start to put together these big plans and these big goals, but everything's so big and there's nothing you can do tomorrow that's that big,
yeah,
and I think people just so heavily underestimate just saying, okay, I think I want to go in this direction. So tomorrow, here's 5 things I can do that are in that direction. If it's draw up some sunglasses or find your local school that you could enroll in or read a book or whatever it is, because I don't know, that's just really what you're hitting on with your story is like the pieces come together as long as you're pushing in one direction.
yeah,
And I don't know that that's taught enough. I hate the message of dream big and dream and dream. Like I hate that
yeah,
because I just think it really gets people off the practicality
yeah,
of building something.
yeah. That last 2 minutes of what you just said, like every kid should re-listen to that every week, because
Thanks, man.
that's genius. Like your overnight success is not going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of pressure that you need to go from A to Z.
Yeah.
But it's really you go from like A to a big capital A, and then like
For real. Thank God you said that. It's
then,
not
like,
even you can't even go A to
lowercase
B. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
like
but that's also, like we're saying, what people don't realize is that's where the fun is.
that's
Is saying, man, today I went from a little A to a big A.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's it. And when you look back on it, the same way you just said in your story, like that's the moments that you miss or that whatever that were the most fun were not getting to Z.
Yeah.
It was going from little A to big A.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like every day and then little B to big B.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but damn it, if that's not the whole purpose of this shit.
It's so true. And you hear a lot of times when people get to Z and they sell their company or whatever, they
Yeah,
feel
and
empty and they need to go back to little A,
Yep.
and they start over, but it's really those magic.
Yeah, I don't know what I
Magic.
would do. Even if like right now, if somebody said, "Hey, here's $100 million, we want the whole thing tomorrow. Just go ahead, do your thing." I don't know what I would do. Like I really honestly, I'm not saying I wouldn't consider it.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that tomorrow morning, I don't know what I would do.
Invite me on your boat. That's all I ask.
I will 100% do that. But yeah, no, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I'd just go explore or something. I have no idea, but I'm just saying like it literally is the entire driver of my entire everything.
It's your existence.
Yeah.
You are the brand, and the brand is you. And
Yeah, that's true.
it's
Well, hey, one day, hopefully I have the luxury of having that problem.
exactly. You want to have
Um,
options.
Yes. $100 million options, preferably.
Yeah.
So let's keep going.
Yeah.
So you're cranking away. You have the or you have the pop-up on Fairfax, which sounds incredible, by the way. You said you had popsicles out front because it was a pop-up.
Pop-up shop.
Yep. How long did that last?
We did a summer, so it was like May to October.
That's pretty long.
Yeah.
So you're building the cult following. At that time, does it feel like, is the feeling like this is good? We're building a brand here. This is great.
Yeah, it felt good, but there's always, I think it's probably just being an entrepreneur, that it could be bigger.
Yeah.
Like, what could I be doing to make it bigger? Am I not doing enough?
Yeah.
Am I making wrong decisions? And should I be over in this? Should we go into retail? Should we try to get into stores or keep it online? Like back and forth. And it's hard. There's so much information out there, especially now. You have, Tim Ferriss says you should only be working 4 hours a week, and Gary Vee says you should be working 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
And you could find differing opinions on everything, and it's hard to know, who to follow, but I think you just have to find, feels what some people love working a lot,
Mhm.
and some people don't like working a lot. They'd rather outsource everything.
Mhm.
But when you're in it and it's your own company, it's like just you
Yeah.
and one other person. What's the right move?
Yeah.
How do we get from, selling to friends of friends of friends of friends to, you know,
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
world,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it.
And there's no magic, there's no playbook on that, unless you have $100 million to invest in advertising,
Yep.
for like, commercials on the
The
Super
lesson of this
Bowl.
podcast is $100 million is
Gets
the
you.
key.
Yeah.
So if you can gather that up, sort of scrounge that together,
Scrounge it up.
that's what you need.
That's what you need. Yeah.
So is that when you started to look at subscription?
We did. We started talking about it in 2013, I think it was.
When did we do our interview?
2015.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So that was way after the pop-up, way after. So at that point, you were already cruising and potentially looking at these new options, or very serious about these new options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We realized our sunglasses were good because they were affordable. They were $50 to $60. You could buy them in multiple colors. And what we noticed is people started collecting them, like these three brothers have over like 100 pairs.
Jesus.
People are coming back every month, buying a new style, new color every month.
Yep.
And we're like, subscription boxes were kind of taking off, and we're like, could this work with sunglasses? Nobody had been doing it. And so we toyed around with the idea for a while. And what we realized is like, we've reached, without advertising or, we've kind of reached as far as we can go.
Yeah.
Unless, an A-list celebrity just starts promoting us for free,
Yep.
which probably wouldn't happen at that point. But we're like, we need to kind of pivot to reach more masses, and also it gives us a chance to make this even better.
Yep.
How can we, if people are coming back every month, how can we make it better? Well, we can make it a whole system, subscription, make it even lower priced,
Yeah.
make the sunglasses even better.
Yeah.
And there were so many pain points at that time with buying sunglasses.
Mm-hmm.
One company owns everything, so 80% of it. If you have to return it,
Luxottica?
yeah.
Okay.
If you have to return a pair, they make you fill out a form, and you mail it back to like Luxottica, not like Ray-Ban or Oakley.
Yeah. What a nightmare.
You have to go into the store.
That seems borderline illegal.
Yeah.
Are they pushing on like the borderline of
I don't know.
monopoly?
Probably shouldn't comment on it.
Hey, I'm gonna say it. Yo,
unless they got $100
Luxottica.
million, they want to buy
Yo,
us
me and
out.
my me and my boy Rich have a question.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Cut that out. Okay, so sorry. Keep going.
Yeah. So no, it's just you learn a lot about the business. And in hindsight, if I had known about the business and I was like, let me research sunglasses for 6 months before I decide if I go in, I probably would have been like, there's no way I can compete with these people. I would have thought myself to quitting.
But I'll tell you, like, once again, I don't know the advice there either, but it's almost like, with anything, like if a small kid was like, hey, I want to be in the NBA one day, and you went through the statistics, you'd be like, you should, here's a book you can read.
Yeah.
But it's almost like you need that blind faith a little bit.
Yeah. Almost like the less you know sometimes.
I
better.
know, man. And I don't know, because I would tell everyone, and one of the big things I do tell people is make sure you educate yourself on the industry first. And then, but I just think that anytime there's going to be a part of it that's scary, that you got to just go for, even though it looks stupid, because that is so common. And most people enter, like, at least their entry point, even if they switch industries or switch whatever, like, it seems like their entry point came from this moment of not knowing any better.
Yeah.
That it was, the chances were slim to none.
Yeah. Naive, being naive a little bit is.
What was the Steve Jobs, stay hungry, stay foolish?
Yeah.
Do that. Do what Steve Jobs said.
Yeah.
That's my advice.
Yeah. It's true though, because you can get intimidated really easily.
Yeah.
They have, I think Luxottica has 77,000 employees and 7,000 retail stores. So, on paper,
pretty big.
It'd be like, you can't compete, and not that we're competing with them at all, but
Yeah.
the other side of the coin is they're doing the same thing over and over and over again, because they're like a giant oil tanker.
Yeah.
They're not innovating, they're not inventing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so sometimes you're in an advantage because you can do whatever you want. You don't have red tape. You don't have investors. You don't have a stock price to worry about. You can just create. And I think if you make that your mindset to, I'm going to create like the best thing I think I can make that people will like, don't half-ass it or cut any corners. Just like, this is the best, then people will gravitate towards it, you know,
Mhm.
especially if it's a little different or unique or better price, or you know, you gotta study the market that way a little bit, you know,
Yeah.
but you just gotta, you know, you can make things better than a $1 billion company,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
They got the same old people doing it every year. They're not, you know, innovating as much as, you know, some of these
Yeah, and
younger
that's I mean,
people.
there's no opportunity like right now for
Yep.
when that's literally happening to every industry.
Yeah.
Retail as a whole, the music industry, apparel, everything. Like we are in this I know that it has happened year after year for a long time, but we're in this crazy moment right now where all of these old sort of what do you call it? Almost like landmark businesses, or you know what I'm saying? These old oil tankers, as you described it, are just I don't know, there's real competition and they
Yeah.
don't know that. I think they're starting to recognize it, but they don't know what to do about it. And I don't think that they recognize how serious it actually is.
Yeah.
Um, and it's so interesting because it seems like in every, I mean, down to mattresses. We were talking about mattresses earlier. Like, I don't think the mattress industry realizes the severity of what Casper and Purple and these guys are doing. I don't know. I just don't think it's the same way I don't think that Macy's realizes, or you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Or Luxottica realizes what Rich is up to.
I hope, you know.
Hopefully they do notice,
Yeah.
and they have that $100 million check ready.
Exactly. That's the goal.
What so you kind of just jumped into it because you saw the opportunity. I mean, you did some research that there was, you know, potentially a lane for it, but like you really just went for it because you
Yeah.
saw the customers acting the way that they were acting, and you just went for it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was what's the theory behind it? Monthly, one pair of sunglasses
Yeah. You get
per?
a new pair of shades every month.
Yeah.
And
Different every month. You never
diff-
get the same.
never get the same.
Uh-huh.
We curate it. You know, one of our specialties is designing unisex sunglasses
Mm-hmm.
that fit 90% of faces.
Yeah.
So
That seems hard.
yeah, you know, that's what our bread and butter was for
Yep.
Dick's Cottons, and so that's how we're doing it for Shades Club. And the best part is you're getting, you know, we're using the same factories as some of these brands that sell for $300 and $400,
Mm-hmm.
and so you're getting ours for around $30 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So it's literally, you know, in terms of value and what you're getting, and it's unmatched. And then like the sunglasses are just, you know, they're unique. You know, you won't walk into the party and, you know, have the same pair as 10 other people, you know.
Yeah.
And so TJ and I, we knew it had legs, but we didn't want to go all in, and put all this time and energy and then I'd be like, yeah, I'm not sure about it. So a really great avenue we used is Kickstarter.
Yep. Oh yeah, yeah. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So if any of your listeners want to, you know, give them my email at the end, but I'm happy to talk to anybody about Kickstarter
Yeah.
or anything like that. But it was a great vehicle for us. We spent a lot of time researching Kickstarter and how to make the perfect Kickstarter campaign.
Can you give me a shortened version of how you make the perfect Kickstarter campaign?
Yeah, there's a lot of tips and tricks about you hire a good person like Rod to like help you with your storytelling. But you know, the video has to be between 2 and 2.5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
The opening image has to have a hand in it holding the product.
Really?
Like these are like they take you from like, you know, an average campaign to
Damn.
because they want to see motion, they want to see the person using the product. The headline has to provide value. The body has to go from like general details all the way down to like the smallest details people want to see. And you just gotta, you know, you gotta work 2 months before you launch it.
Mm-hmm.
Getting people to know about it, getting press to know about it.
Yep.
You can't just launch it and hope for the best. It's almost like launching a new business.
Yeah.
But you know right away if it's going to take off or not.
Yeah.
Um,
And so you did that, and it did really, really well, right?
Yeah.
That's the story. The story is that it overperformed more than what you thought.
yeah, we put a threshold at 20,000,
Mm-hmm.
and it broke that in an hour.
Of launching.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So
So were you guys like, what was your feeling? Were you watching it like, holy
oh
shit?
yeah, the numbers just like it's like addicting. You just sit there and the number keeps going up, and I think we did we did like $100,000 in the first day or two, and we were like, wow, like this is bigger than we even thought it could be.
Do you think that it raised so much just because you did such a good job and because of the brand following that you already had? Do you think it was a combination of those things, or why? Why did it work so well?
It was, it got a lot of traffic, and a lot of people, like, I think a lot of our friends shared it.
Uh-huh.
Whereas it's hard to get people to share a new, anything. But if it's on Kickstarter, it's more shareable.
Yeah.
And so we didn't have a lot of our current customers early on subscribing. It was all new people.
Yep.
And I think it's just it's a community that likes to support new, innovative ideas.
Yeah.
And they just took to it. And if you do well on Kickstarter early on, Kickstarter puts you towards the top. So like,
cool.
all of a sudden we're the #1 funded fashion Kickstarter at the moment. And then
Yeah.
people, it's like a self-fulfilling
Yeah.
prophecy,
Yeah.
and it snowballs. And
How cool.
yeah, we ended up doing about 400 after it was all said and done.
Jesus. You should just bought that boat. That you
I
were
know.
on. Like, yo,
Sorry,
guys, we kind of
guys.
switched the thing.
No,
Like that silly little business that we were talking about. We actually got a boat.
Well, the funny thing is, if we had put it all in Bitcoin, we'd have 4 million now. So
You're right.
Can
Can you raise anything on Kickstarter?
You can do anything.
Like, can I do like my Bitcoin investing account?
Absolutely.
Everyone just
Yeah,
throw it in.
yeah. Throw me $20.
Damn, we should think about that.
They
And then,
actually,
like, I promise to spend the money on like something that
Something
will
awesome.
benefit all of us, even if it's my boat,
a party
that I'll Instagram
on the
live
boat.
from.
Yeah.
Man, you could do it. There has to be. Never mind. I'm gonna abandon that thought. I'm sure we're gonna cut this out, but there's probably a trillion like really interesting, funny Kickstarters.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
That's probably common knowledge that I'm the one left out on, so I don't want to sound stupid on my own podcast.
No. Kickstarter does have a lot of rules and what you can launch. They actually wouldn't let our project go through. After 6 months of work on it, we sent it for approval, and they're like, it got rejected
Like before you launched.
before we launched. They're
Why?
like, they thought we were buying existing sunglasses and reselling them,
Oh,
and it wasn't an original. You have to create something original that doesn't exist.
got it.
And so we hit up our friends. Anyone know anyone at Kickstarter? Blah blah blah. And we found an early employee who was like, "Oh yes, that's just kind of like
Oh,
they."
wow.
So we got it. We were freaking out for 2 days. Like we
Yeah.
just spent 6 months on this, and now
It's a
like,
nightmare.
redid the video 5 times. TJ and I were like, "This can't be happening." But luckily, we got it solved, and then that kind of launched us into our pivot to Shades Club.
So you made $400,000
Yes,
in how long?
it took 60 days.
Jesus Christ. So now you set like the length of the
Yeah,
campaign?
you can do 1 to 60.
Got it.
And we did 60, so it would have maximum exposure.
Yep. So you do that, you collect $400,000. Then how do you start?
Luckily we had been in the sunglass space, so we weren't starting from scratch.
Yeah.
So, at that point, it's how do we order custom boxes? How do we do the packaging? What are we planning out for the next 12 months of sunglasses?
Mhm.
Kickstarter takes their cut. There's a lot of costs that go into it, so you don't end up with the whole chunk, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
you have enough to say, okay, now I don't have to cut corners.
Yeah.
I don't have to order 1,000 boxes. I can order 20,000 boxes.
Yep.
Because I know we just sold 16,000 pairs of sunglasses.
Yeah.
Over the course of a year.
Yep.
So it gives you some ordering power. When you go to the factories, you can order one style and 3,000 pairs at a clip.
Yep.
So it really gives you the ability to do things right from the start.
Uh-huh.
And so that we were very beneficial, and our customers loved it. They're like, I can't believe this didn't exist.
Yeah.
I'm a sunglass aficionado. I collect them. I have 100 pairs, and
Yeah.
this is amazing. And
Yeah.
so that really motivated us that our idea had legs.
Yep.
And we weren't just shooting in the dark.
And when do you start the process of actually getting the people to sign up for the subscriptions?
They sign up as soon as they back the Kickstarter.
Oh, that's okay. That's what I thought, right? So
Yes.
it's kind of acts as a marketing vehicle and a fundraiser.
Yep.
Got it. And you said how many people signed up?
We had 3,400 members.
Jesus. So you're starting with $400,000 and 3,400 members. That's huge.
It's fun. It's a fun experience. Like at some point in your life, you should be able to say, "I did a Kickstarter. I went through that." You know,
Maybe I could Kickstarter like a better podcast set or something. That's
you
something
actually
we can all
could.
benefit off of.
Yeah,
We gotta look into that. We're doing a short story long Kickstarter.
yeah.
Um, okay, so 3,400. So then you go, you get the boxes, you design the glasses, you're ready to go. Do you just launch and go for it?
Yeah, we took a couple months because Kickstarter holds your money for a little bit, and
Yeah.
you got to get everyone ready. So we waited till the summer,
Mm-hmm.
and then we started shipping. And at this point, Dick's Cottons is still running,
Yeah.
but you have to kind of make a decision. You know, there's only so many hours in the day.
Is it really just you and your boy?
Yeah, we have one other guy now too helping us ship. Shout out to Keith,
Yo, Keith.
and he's holding the fort down while I'm out here.
Yeah.
And TJ's we're redoing our website. We're doing a ton of rebranding stuff right now.
Yep.
It's exciting. So we learned a lot in the first year, and now we realize we can make this better. We didn't even put our best foot forward.
Yeah.
We can make this 10 times better. So we're launching Shades Club 2.0, we like to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's exciting. We think it's kind of untouchable once this launches.
Yeah. When does it launch?
November.
Got it.
So we're still shipping. We still have members. We're shipping everything, but we're doing a whole let's make this even better.
Yeah.
And we're always constantly improving, and it's
So
fun.
remind me how long has it been up and running? How long have you been shipping?
1 year.
1 year. And how was growth in between? You don't got to tell me numbers, but how was growth in between launch and current?
It was
Rapid?
Yeah, it was good. All of our Kickstarter people were sharing with their friends and family.
Yep.
So then they would want to sign up, and then we got some press, and it spread organically. We haven't advertised yet, but
Really? You still haven't?
mm-mm.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So that's all from the Kickstarter and then organic growth outside of that.
Yeah.
How nuts.
So
And do you plan to advertise and to go that route or?
yeah, I think it's hard to not do Facebook ads these days.
Yeah. It's hard to do them also though.
Yeah,
Because now
it's so
everybody
expensive.
and their mom does it. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy right now. Because we obviously do it like nuts, and obviously these guys do too. And it's sort of a necessity, but also we're in this time frame, which might not ever end, where everyone has realized that it's a necessity.
Yeah.
And so everyone does. I mean, I get served ads on my Instagram every day from companies that I have no clue who they even are. Like, it's just the weirdest shit, And it's like anyone with a company has to have a budget for Facebook and Instagram marketing. I'm just curious to see what that does, because there's two theories, right? One is that all these people are spending money, they're going to see a very bad return because they're making shitty ads for shitty unknown brands and it's oversaturated and they all stop, or everyone just gets better at it and it becomes even more saturated, right? I don't know the answer, but I'm going to lean towards everyone just gets better at it and it gets harder.
Yeah.
Things don't usually get easier when there's opportunities. But it's really interesting, man. It's a really interesting space.
It's crazy because you could literally just be really good at Facebook ads
Yeah.
and make a living selling anything.
Yeah, I know people who have done it very well.
And so that's a whole new business opportunity. I'm just going to be good at Facebook ads.
Yeah.
And pick a product. They might not even care about the product, but they know they can sell it from home, and it's
pretty
the
amazing.
prices will keep going up, I'm sure. And
But there's also people who I don't know, I'm just going to do a terrible job at recounting this story, but there are people who have made, T-shirt companies with the funny quotes on them and the blah, blah, blah. And it was just of the moment and it was this current event and they got really good at targeting and they've sold the businesses for hundreds of millions of dollars based off of being witty and having some witty designers and being really, really good at Facebook ads.
yeah, it's quick,
Yeah,
and
it's interesting, man.
there's some people in our neighborhood in Florida who make yoga sayings on T-shirts, and all they do is there's no brand behind it. It's just yoga.
Yeah. And it's worth
coffee,
$5 billion.
coffee jokes and yoga jokes.
Yeah, and it's doing well, right?
And yeah, they're doing really well, just Facebook ads.
Yeah. I wonder where it goes. We'll see.
Yeah,
So moving forward, this is obviously your main focus,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, we still have Dick's Cottons. It's just kind of backburnered a little bit,
Yeah.
but we're still getting orders, and we're using what we, the sunglasses in the Shades Club. So
Yep.
it's an extension of the brand.
Mm-hmm. And you don't ever plan to kill that, do you?
No.
Um, Man, how cool. How cool. What's your mindset of like in your head, and you can choose to not answer this if you want, but like are you trying to build to sort of an exit point that you have in mind, or do you have some sort of like I'm going to build this business and get rid of it, or do you want it to just be the biggest thing in the world because you think that you can scale it for the next 10 years? Or like where's your mindset at on that stuff?
It's a great question. I think we talked about it a little bit earlier, but having the option.
Yeah.
So small and profitable,
Yep.
nice life, doing what you love,
Yeah.
can travel.
That's like the entrepreneur's 9 to 5.
Yeah.
You know, like that's like as close as you could get to comfort
Yeah.
as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
You get your morning coffee,
Yeah.
get to work out every day,
Ugh, how
travel,
nice.
take a few trips.
Yeah.
It's harder, easier said than done because there's always a mile-long to-do list.
Yep.
The other option would be if you have the option, somebody offers you a number, consider
You're
it.
open to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we feel there's at least 20 to 50,000 people that would need this
Yeah.
in their life.
Yeah.
So
Okay, couple just general questions because I'm trying to get better here at giving some advice or input or things that people can act on or put into action. So, from your story, one big question that I have is, do you think it's better to hire friends or to have a team of friends or to not hire friends at all?
great question. I think they have to be the type of person you can see becoming your friend.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're not a friend right away, but they have to believe in the vision
Mm-hmm.
and be all in. And it's better, I think, if they like similar things to you because I think it's going to be a better fit in the company. TJ, ironically, was a friend of a friend. We didn't know it at the time, but he was a college friend of one of my best friends in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And we were not friends, but now we're,
Yep.
best friends,
Yep.
and I'm the godfather of his son.
Yep.
And we have that nice relationship. But if he was my friend starting out, it
Yeah.
might not have worked because we were too close. And
Yeah, because how do you know? I mean, obviously, TJ's your partner now, right?
yeah,
Because like when it comes to firing people and it comes to those tough decisions, I think that's where like it really becomes an issue,
yeah,
And I don't know. I think like what you're saying, even me, like I've had to fire a decent amount of people and had to fire an okay amount of friends. And I think the sweet spot is you want to come to work every day and feel like everyone's a group of friends and everyone has each other's back and everyone's there for the same cause. But as the leader, if that moment comes, you can also fire them at any moment. And that's a really hard line to draw.
yeah. I haven't had to do that, fire anyone,
Yeah, it's tough.
but I can only imagine,
Yeah.
especially if you have a history with them or
Yeah,
they're friends or
Yeah. It's
yeah.
part of the game, It's part of the
Probably one of the hardest
weird
things to
part of the
do,
weird
right?
life we chose, Rich. Another big one that I get all the time is, when do you think is the right time to stop your comfortable job that you hate with steady income to take the leap to start your own business? How do you know when that moment has arrived?
The easy answer would be, as soon as you finish this podcast, just start now and
So
just go
once this is over, call your boss.
and say I'm out.
I like that.
But
now.
the reality is people get, there's a certain comfort with getting the paychecks, and
Yep.
you don't want to do anything that will put you in a desperate or a tricky situation where you don't have anything set in motion.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you need to start setting things in motion, and eventually, if you're putting in 50% of your time and into your passion or whatever is not your comfortable job,
Yep.
then it's like, okay, 50 I can go to 50 to 100, and I know there's traction, and
Yeah.
I think it's easy to say just quit and start, but if you don't, you're going to be stressed about paying rent and other stuff, and you're not going to be able to focus on the business.
Yeah.
So
I always say I always say just before you're ready.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of the sweet spot. Like, if you wait till you're ready, you've probably missed the boat.
Yeah.
But if you go right before, so you can see where you're jumping to, but maybe you don't think you can make it, go then, you know?
And in reality, like your situation, you probably will be forced into being ready.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. You'll
the
figure it
episode's
out.
airing.
Yeah.
We're not ready, but I don't have a choice, so I'm ready.
Yeah, and that was the greatest thing that ever
And
happened to
then
me.
yeah, you're right into the fire, and
Yeah.
the universe will make you ready. I think when you need to be ready.
Agreed. Last one. What do you think about, is retail dead? Is retail in America dead?
I would say yes.
And you think that it's just going to die a slow death over the next, how long?
3 years.
So if I'm starting a new business, there should be 0% of my effort spent on learning retail.
Yes.
I pretty much agree with you. So
Yeah.
I kind of gave it to you in a really tough way, and you held strong.
Well, you know, I
I tried
can't
to
tell you the last
position-
time I went and bought something in a store. So
Yeah.
it's like, you know, people are on their phones 80% of the time. It's like,
And that's,
fish where
again,
the
to the
fish are.
listener, that's the beauty of their situation now, because it's never been so easy to start a company.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, normally you would have to build the hype, do all the blah, 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 and then there's an entire extra piece of that process, which is building relationships with retailers and even getting them to do a test order and then see how that does and get your order returned and then build with this one and build with that one. And like, now you can literally be on Jersey Shore and the next day taking orders from PayPal if you want.
Yeah.
Like, you can literally, but you can launch a web store the next day and you can be in business right away.
yeah.
You know, which is amazing.
It's never been easier. Like,
No.
we probably could have built a website this morning and gotten an order during this podcast.
Yeah, we could have,
airing.
100%. We could have
It's
Facebook Lived and we could have got our damn Kickstarter started.
Yeah. But back, I mean, even 5 years ago, to build a website took developers and
Yeah.
money and coding, and now it's just, you know, you go on Shopify or Squarespace, you
We
could have
could
it
have
up in
done
an hour.
We literally, you could have walked in this office. We could have had a website being built while we were podcasting, and we could have taken orders now on Facebook
Yeah,
Live.
with one Facebook ad.
Damn it. We should do that as an experiment
Yeah,
one day.
we should.
Good job on the new rapid fire questions. Those are good. I'm going to cut those into little clips. you
Yeah,
know?
those are
Um,
one word answers too. It's like you can't
it's good.
waffle on it.
What would you say? This is a big question. This is the big, deep question. For you as a person, what's the end goal? What's the end game?
The end game is, I think my perfect scenario would be like a balance of waking up when you want to wake up,
Mm-hmm.
working on your business,
Mhm.
working out, eating amazing meals, surrounded by your friends, you know, close to a beach. It's like, it's the perfect harmony of working on something you love,
Mhm.
but getting to enjoy life.
Mhm.
And if your job or what you're working on helps enjoy life, it's like a home run, I think.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think we were put on this earth to not enjoy everything around us.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get sucked into like work, you know. But the whole point of it's, you know, to enjoy what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
I agree. If you could just do that forever, like, I could probably do that until I die,
Yeah.
until the day that I actually fall over on my boat with my laptop in hand.
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah.
I don't think I would. You don't need to retire from that.
No. It's
So you both want to be Branson.
yeah.
So we both want to be Richard fucking Branson.
Jeez.
Rich. Not you,
It's-
Rich. Other
yeah,
Rich.
yeah. It seems like he's always living in that space that we talked about earlier. As well.
It does. Is he, Rod?
He does. I mean,
Would you say anyone that you've ever met, Richard Branson, lives in the sweet spot?
yeah, and what's great about him is, I think I've told you before, maybe even on the first episode, that he's exactly as you think he is, and
Mhm.
exactly how you want him to be. He has
Damn
a zest for life. He's insatiably curious. You know, his nickname is Dr. Yes, because anything comes his way, he's like, screw it, let's do it. You know, so that's a pretty good way to live.
Is that his book? Screw it, let's do it.
It might have been one of them. Yeah, it's kind of his informal.
I'm gonna be honest. I want Richard Branson to be exactly the opposite of what he looks like, because I want to know that it's not real or possible.
Pull off the goatee.
Yeah, like I want to be like, stop lying, you're miserable. That's not your island, and you weren't on that wakeboard with that lady. Okay, last thing. This is my big ender question: is if you could go back to your younger self, back in Boston. We'll say, I always try to pick a spot just so I can get the most detailed answer, but I'll say, like, you're playing baseball, but you're starting to realize that it's not going to be your life path. Um, your sister seems to have things all figured out, and you're just kind of trying to get on the path of figuring it out yourself. And if you could take yourself back to that mind state that you were in, and now, after all this that you've learned, all the ups and downs, all the everything you've been through, having this different perspective on life, what would you tell young Rich to make life a little easier?
Man, that's a good ending question. It's like all the marbles in one.
Yeah.
That's tough. I think I would tell myself to take a step back and just look around you and see where your energy is going.
Mm-hmm.
If you get so wrapped up in the day to day, especially now, I mean,
Yeah.
even more so, but the days roll over, and it's
Mm-hmm.
Friday and then it's Monday and then it's, but to take a step back and take a big picture and just
Mm-hmm.
have some patience. You don't have to figure it out today or tomorrow, but think about where you want to be in 5 or 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
not in 5 or 10 weeks, because that's unattainable.
Mm-hmm.
What do you envision your life to look like in 5 or 10 years that you think would make you the ultimate happiness?
Mm-hmm.
And if you can figure out a way to be happy along the ride, that's what I would have told myself, is that, don't have such a short ball, short plan, because, it's impossible to achieve. It always takes longer than you think.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what I really gathered from your story is, like, if you want to, let's just say I stepped in, I said, hey, little Rich, what's going on? As you're talking to your younger self. And I say, what I really learned from your story is, like, you felt like you might want to be involved in business. So you went to business school and you saw where that led you. And you could feel that you didn't want to be in finance or blah, blah, blah. So you kind of made this move to see. And then you could see that you wanted to be in the sunglass industry. So you went to school and you had terribly busy days and you whatever. But it's sort of like when you had the inkling that you wanted to do something, you went and did it the right way and you really immersed yourself into it. I don't know the word. Submerged yourself into it. And you really learned it the right way. And you either came out of it with a slightly clearer or different vision, or you learned that that's not what you like in real estate. But it just, I don't know. I really admire that about you and about your journey is you followed your instinct, but not in a shallow way. Like, you said, this is something I'm into. I'm going to go do it 100% and see where it leads me. And it seems like it's led you, after all of this, to a pretty good spot,
Yeah, it's you hit the nail on the head. It's you pull from all your different life experiences,
Yeah.
and you don't know, nobody knows the right answer or the magic formula. You
Mhm.
kind of have to tinker with it a few times and test it out. And one of your other guests, actually, Mike Stud, we actually designed some sunglasses with him, but he has an incredible story that's similar,
Mm-hmm.
where life threw him a curveball, and he just started doing something else, and it led to
Yeah.
an incredible story. He's been a big part of our success too.
Yeah.
So
He's a great guy.
we make his sunglasses and he wears them, and his whole crew is great. But his story, just proves you think you're going to be a Major League Baseball player,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
it's like,
Because there's nothing like a professional baseball career that is looking kind of promising, and then
Yeah.
an injury where you can't. Like, that's as brutal as it gets.
yeah, that's the epitome of making, learning from that and pivoting to something. And
Yep.
as much as you plan,
You can't plan to
you
blow your
can't-
elbow out.
yeah, you can't plan everything, and just got to go with the flow and learn and grow as you go.
Yep.
Personal growth equals brand growth.
Agreed.
So it's been fun.
Well, I think we did it, man. That was an incredible ending. The whole thing was great. I feel like we did it. Do you want to? Did I miss anything?
No, I had a gift.
Oh,
But
yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
get
yeah.
it. We can do
Yeah,
that. Or
let's
whatever.
do it. Let's do it. Because at the end, I'm going to tell you to just plug everything.
Okay, cool.
We got gifts. It's gift week.
I think I started counting my
You get a car. You get
I mean, I'm so excited. I feel so like thankful.
started counting my ums at one point. I'm like, I gotta stop saying.
I do it with yeahs. Like I keep, because when you're talking, I'll say yeah, and I just.
That's a good listening technique.
I
'cause
know, it's
you
good.
acknowledge
Well, it's
that.
good in a normal conversation, but when you're podcasting, you just sound like an idiot.
I didn't notice it. So,
The listeners will.
my business partner TJ, huge fan of yours. He wanted me to bring you a little something from one of the episodes. The old sacred geometry.
Yes.
And then on the back there's a pattern with palm trees, pineapples, sunglasses, sun, and then a beach umbrella. So it's like your own
Yep.
your own pattern of lifestyle pattern on the back. So
I love it.
just a little something.
Damn it, you guys are good.
And then of
That's
course,
a cool. I guess I hadn't really like soaked in. That's a really good logo.
thanks. That's part of the rebrand logo.
The new
That's
2.0.
the new 2.0. Of course, we brought you some shades for you and the crew.
I love it.
I know you like circulars.
I sure do.
This is one of our new styles. A
Ooh,
little
those are-
color for the summer.
How much is it again? $30 a month?
Yeah,
That's great.
these are handmade.
They feel
So,
very
Yeah,
durable,
yeah.
very solid.
So these
That's not
the
an
handmade
ad.
ones don't break. So
Yeah.
you'll
That's
have them
good.
forever. It's a couple other pairs for Danny and the crew.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. It was
Yeah, man, this was good.
awesome.
We're still going, right? Okay. This is the last part too, where I do. Tell everyone where to find you. Tell social media, the website, how to sign up for the subscription, how to do everything.
Yeah, so it's shadesclub.com
Mm-hmm.
and at Shades Club on Twitter and Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you just want a single pair, it's at Dick's Cottons.
Mm-hmm.
Both words plural. DicksCottons.com.
What about you? Do you want your Instagram out to the world or no?
I don't have a personal Instagram.
You don't.
I
Oh yeah, I just follow Dick's Cottons. I guess.
yeah. I
Why is that?
I was the brand, I guess, when I started, and I
Yeah.
never, did a personal one.
I think you should start one. Just my personal.
Yeah. No,
My gift back to you
that's
is that
invaluable.
we now live in an age. If you listen to the Tom,
you need
pod-
the personal
you
brand.
got to do
yeah.
it, man. They want to know who you are. They want to know who's selling them all these damn things. So show them
that's
your
good advice.
lifestyle, show them your boats, show them how.
Show 'em your boat.
Yeah. All right, we did it, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was really
Incredible.
good.
Thanks.
There it is.
Boom.